All right. Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Weekly Collective. I'm Nicholas Ashbaugh. Great to see you. Let's check in on Apollo, who's scratching himself in the background. Hopefully, everybody's doing great. Thank you so much for showing up today. Our special topic is going to be what's on the horizon. So this is giving us a chance to see opportunities. And whenever this comes through, I'm also going to see the blocks. So everything should work out. For those of you that want other topics, every week you get a chance to vote. And I typically will keep some of the top performers around for a couple of weeks, and then I periodically will choose what I want. Every third or fourth, I'm going to start doing more of the reader's choices so that there's enough variety, and I can choose the underdog or the one that I think we need to see as well. So just keep showing up, and usually what you need to see will be covered at some point in time. If you're brand new, first of all, welcome. It's good to see you. The collective covers a lot of information. I'm going to start off with mediumship, channel messages first, then we'll get into a weekly forecast, and then we have a lot more in store, so I do hope you stick around. Let's get into that mediumship portion first. So channeled messages coming through today. Here's what I picked up on. First and foremost, I had a really interesting sort of experience in my dreams where I felt like I was in an airport. And for those of you who are fellow mediums or kind of getting into that journey, here's how I interpret taxis, planes, and cars. Typically, it's you between two sort of spaces in your life. It's a liminal space, and you're trying to sort things out. And often this means that you should really be paying attention to all the connections around you. So there were a couple things that struck me. I didn't have my boarding pass, so I didn't know which gate to go to. I don't even think I knew which airline to go to. I couldn't find my phone. So to me, this is a wayfinding message. Some of us are ready to make a change. We want to go somewhere, do something, but it's sort of like, what's the first step? How do I get this started? What's the right connection? Like, who should I be talking to? And so my first message for everybody today that's watching is take a breath. It's good to decide that you're ready for change. That's like the most important and most powerful piece of it. Now let's just start to dream, research, and let it sit with us for a second. In a couple of the dailies that I've had over the past week, I've mentioned that if you feel the same way in a day or two, then it's good to move forward. It might have even been in the Aries reading, which I just did. But don't be afraid to sit with it for a little bit. And if it still resonates, like by the end of the week, ostensibly, then it might be time to take more significant action. We are in retrograde, so it's good to plan, to explore, to consider. You don't necessarily need to execute on the plan just yet. You can wait until Mercury retrograde is completely done, and that would be my advice on that. The other thing that came through was water pressure, which is, it could be very specific for some of you, like maybe there's something going on in the pipes. But the other thing that I see with water pressure, like walking into the shower and there's nothing, is that we're looking at the flow of energy and the flow of opportunity. And sometimes we show up, but the timing's off. So keep showing up. Eventually that energy will be there. And sometimes just like, it's like making an appointment with spirit. So when we tell spirit, I'm going to show up and meditate every day at this time, the more we do it, the more the channel opens, the more that the information, the guides, and the energy comes through. And if the first time that you turn on the intuitive spigot, it doesn't work, it's okay. Keep on showing up. The other thing, though, is we don't want to force our energy in a path that doesn't feel right. So I always say follow the energy. So keep trying other doors, other windows, other spigots, and see what works for you, because one size does not fit all when it comes to anything in life, whether it's tapping into your intuition, finding someone that you love, finding a career path that satisfies you. One size does not fit all. And maybe that will help with the whole I'm lost in the airport vibe. We are in Mercury retrograde, so suffice it to say for planning, it's good to have backup plans, like when you're traveling, get that travel insurance. As someone who just traveled at the beginning of the year and had 3 of my flights delayed, canceled, or completely rerouted, on one return, it's worth it, folks. And that wasn't even a Mercury retrograde. So traveling's getting more contentious now. So you want to make sure that you know where you're going, have your paperwork together, have a plan, have some insurance, and definitely in a Mercury retrograde, we could read that particular channeled message at face value. Those were the two main things that came through. As we look at the cards, I'll see if anything else comes through as far as mediumship, but I feel like we can get started now. So we're going to do a 7-day forecast now. Let me make a little bit of room on the table so I can work, and let's begin. All right, welcome everybody. Good to see you. All right, we're going to use this deck today because I know many of you like it, and it was calling to me for this portion of the reading. All right, everybody, I would love for you to close your eyes for a moment and let go of any preconceived notions. If anything that I've said has resonated, great. If it hasn't, let's just open up now to see what the cards want to show us. And we're just looking sort of strategically at this week ahead. We'll get into that special topic in a moment. One thing that I like to do as a meditation technique is imagine that you could trace a circle around your body. So maybe imagine yourself at the beach, see that circle light up, connect with the sun overhead, and now you can welcome in guides, angels, and ascended masters. Let me just get my screen to a place where I can see everything. All right. Yeah, I love the gilding on this. It's really nice. Okay, 7-day forecast. 8 of Cups, perfectly aligned with what I was talking about, getting some distance on something. Let's get this all set up so you can see it. I'm going to turn my air conditioning back on. You can watch Apollo while I do that. All right, here we go, back to business. We're going to start off with the 8 of Cups for today, looking at this Sunday. This is about taking a step back to get some clarity. And I mentioned, see how you feel tomorrow. See how you feel at the end of this week. If it all still resonates, perfect. If it doesn't, that gives you've basically saved yourself a little bit of time and energy. This could be a really good day to just take it easy. 8 of Cups is a vacation, a break, basically allowing yourself to just, not necessarily focus so much on what's in front of you, what's around you. It's a chance to just kind of go within and relax. Travel is a part of this, and I did pull a daily card connected with travel as well, and I had a message around travel as well. So definitely, I think the just getting in the car or walking on the streets is going to be a lot less sort of challenging than maybe hopping on a plane. But whatever you might be doing, don't get upset if there's a slight delay. Take a deep breath, have that plan B, and that's going to help you out. This is also a card that's perfect for a retrograde period because it's connected to second chances. Things have a way of coming around again. And so sometimes we're not ready the first time. We might not even be ready the second or third time. But eventually, like I was saying, when you keep turning it, eventually something's going to come through. So it feels like for some of you, this could be a day where an opportunity is knocking, and for whatever reason, your energy is compatible with it and things are coming forth. Finally, making and breaking cycles. If you want to start something, great day to start it. If you want to cut a cord, stop something that doesn't serve your highest good anymore, this is also a good day to let things go. Pretty powerful for one card, right? Let's take a look at the beginning of the work week, Monday. 6 of Pentacles, choices. It's all about making the right choices. This is a card that shows that you have more than enough. Maybe not everything that you need, but more than enough. And this is the base card that I look for when we're looking at financial success, a wise decision, being able to sustain yourself. But with all of that being said, there is sometimes temptation, which is why 7 of Pentacles can be stretched too thin to overextend. So it's important to say no if your inner guidance says, you know what, this is going to get me in trouble, or this is going to cost more than it's worth. Saying no is part of this. Typically, there's a bunch of people with their hands outstretched, and the person has to decide yes, no. And that's really what this is a series of good decisions lead you to more abundance. balance has been thematically coming through at least 2 times on the dailies. I kept pulling 2 of Pentacles, right? I had 2 of Wands in between that. So a lot of evening out of things. So if there's something in your life that feels out of balance, Monday's the day to attend to it. Definitely when we're looking at time, energy, and money, have the discussion with someone if something doesn't feel right or if it's not sustaining in the way that it should, okay? Overall, we like that for the start to the work week. It's good. It's decision time when we're looking at Tuesday. We have Justice in the upright position. She represents a choice. And the decision making is often the hardest part. It feels like some of you already got there. You made the first choice, which is, I want something different. The next choice, which is like, well, what is that going to be? That could be the more challenging one. But this could even be weighing the options, weighing the choices. But it feels like by the end of Tuesday, you're going to be in a much clearer mental territory. Notice 2 days of scales. So Monday, the scales are right there. And then Tuesday, Justice always has scales, right? So recalibrating, focusing, getting decisive, stating that intention, fighting for what's right. That's really important. If something is wrong or imbalanced or incorrect or not satisfactory to you, this is the day to speak up, figure out how, when, and how often you're going to work to rectify this, right? I love that there's all that light around her head, like a nimbus or a halo. So you may be the guiding light, the voice of reason, the one that says, folks, what are we doing? Why are we doing this? Sometimes it just needs to be a question like that. Those exact words that I just said could be enough to, and you put it out there on the table for people, let them see what they say. Is there a reason we're doing this? It doesn't feel right, or I don't know, I feel like we're being hasty. And so don't be afraid to speak up if you need to. If there's any legal matters on Tuesday that you need to attend to, obviously this is a great day to do that. And most importantly, when Justice comes through, she's like, do the right thing. You're not going to get away with it if you don't do the right thing. So do the right thing, even if it's uncomfortable, even if it's a pain, it's the right thing. Okay, midweek. 8 of Swords. This is the day where there might be some confusion or a desire to just like unsee or unhear something. Remember what I just said with Justice? You can't really. I know we have all at some point in our life thought we knew someone, and then we learned something, and it's like, oh, that kind of ruins it, right? I wish I didn't know that. I wish I didn't hear that or see that. But you do, and you have to use that knowledge to move forward. Same thing with a choice. Oh, this costs more. Oh, this isn't going to give me as much as I thought. Do I still need it? Do I still want it? So all of the inner compass energy from Monday and Tuesday comes through one more time, and it's like, you can't ignore it. Try though you may. There may be something that is purposely obscure or obfuscated or hidden or just a little bit shady. And so when you can't see through the haze, you're going to raise your hand with 2 and 8 of Swords and say, I don't get it. I don't understand. Or help me. What is this about? You can ask a question. Finally, and most importantly, this is a prison of thought. I can't, therefore I won't. When we say can't, never, won't, anything in that category, it shuts doors before they had a chance to even be opened or created. I'll never, ... I can't, ... I'm not this enough for that. So let's not do that, especially on Wednesday. Always think, why not? How can I? What else can I do? Like, always get into the questioning mode and dismiss what's probably just insecurity or fear stepping in. And let the universe show you what doors are open or closed, okay? But you can't ignore something. You may try to put it under the rug, but it's going to find its way back. Thursday is good, very, very good, connected with all that we've seen here. You're taking a step now towards your choice, something new. It's freedom, it's liberation. I love that she kind of looks like a combination of a moth and a butterfly here. So there is freedom in movement. There is freedom in that first step. What I'm picking up intuitively on this for some of you is that, are our eyes open? They are, okay. people may be asking you, have you thought this through? And when I was looking at the Fool, her eyes are open, but she's basically just moving in the direction that her heart is telling her. So you can just say, I'm following my heart, I'm following my intuition. If you've done the research, let them know, but just say, I'm ready for a change. And sometimes you have to be the one that kind of breaks free and do what you want to do. This is another day for travel. This is also just a day of beginnings. So you can initiate a new project, you can announce something, you can do something new. It's gentle movement, one step at a time. It does not have to be all finished, all perfect, or all complete on that day. What a beautiful card to come through at the end of the week here. On Friday, we have the Sun card, which represents power, organization, charisma, and really the ability for you, this is fully birthing energy here too, so to kind of like step into it 100%. So it feels like the previous day is like 1 foot in, 1 foot out, and then by the time Friday comes through, you're leading the charge and things are looking really, really good. You, when the Sun card comes through, it is a leadership card too. You're kind of like the glue. So if you're ready to step into a moment of leadership or power, the cards are certainly putting you in that direction. I just like to acknowledge that from the balancing, from the choosing, from seeing something head on, we're actually seeing a nice like trajectory here in the cards. Let me take a quick drink and then we'll move on to next weekend. Yeah, it's a very kind of like Botticelli type illustration. I have to be so careful because YouTube censors everything, but there's plenty of coverage on these. All right, let's take a look at Saturday. On Saturday, we have 9 of Pentacles reversed. So there is a desire or a wish to be like, are we done yet? Isn't this complete? How long is this going to take? 9 of Pentacles, you know I love the snail on it. It is slow, steady, sustaining. It is not rushed. It is measured. And it takes a while for everything that you see in this illustration to grow. So don't rush it. That's basically what I get here. This is a great day to work on your own. It is a fiercely independent card. I love that she's holding, I think, Athena's owl there. So great day for researching, especially researching themes around money and investments and things like that. And just spending some time on your own. I think this is a great sort of hermiting day where you can also be very productive. I believe that was, let me just go back in the image here. I think, was that reversed in the spread? Let me double check. Yeah, so that was why I was saying don't rush it. So definitely give yourself time to not feel like you're in a hurry and know that's going to pay off in the long run, okay? All right, let's go ahead now and take a look at next Sunday. We have the 7 of Cups. Choices. Choices need to be made again. There could be some confusion. There could be some, like a desire that there weren't so many choices in front of you. So I think one of the things that you can do is rule out what the most obvious and the most, like on either ends, like this doesn't belong in this decision list, and this is a definite yes. And then just focus on the ones that are a little muddy in the middle, which might just be 2 or 3 choices. So when you can immediately say no, 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 yes, and then, okay, which one of these 2 do I need to focus on? That sort of way of looking at it is less overwhelming than looking at the whole. So focus on the most and least desired, then go in the middle. And if you are exploring what's out there, it's like if you're looking for a home, if you're looking for a car, if you're trying to decide where you want to move, you typically don't want to have 7 choices in front of you at once, 3 or 4. Limit it and really get your criteria to a point where it's closer to what you want. It's when we overdo it that we just get confused. Another day where people just maybe, you could have leadership or instructions that are just lacking clarity. And when I used to work in corporate work, one of the things that I did was I was a manager of art directors. So sometimes we would get a client that was like, well, I just wanted to do this, but they didn't know. We had to kind of suss out what they're looking for. Do you want a conservative design? Do you want bold imagery? Or what kind of colors do you want to do? So you'd have to come through asking for what they wanted, what they didn't, and try to, it's almost like a sketch artist when trying to describe someone you saw on the street. Same thing with a designer. You need to figure out, what is it really that you're looking for? I know you don't have the vocabulary, but I can help you get there. So you might have to play the sketch artist or the interrogator, the designer, and get a little bit more clarity. They can see it here, but they're not using the words to articulate what's here. And so pointing to real life examples can help. And it might just be a day where you're having a hard time focusing. Being that it's a Sunday, if you don't have to work, obviously I work on Sundays, but if you don't have to work, don't. Do something that can clear your mind. Go exercise, take a walk, meditate, take a nap. There just may be too much going on. I feel like we all get this information overload lately, especially with all that's going on in the world. There's so many things that happen at a rapid pace that sometimes you just have to close the devices, take a walk, and take a deep breath. Okay, let's look at highlights and challenges, and then I'll go into the elemental forecast. All right, highlights for this week ahead. By the way, I just noticed that it was almost 888. I saw there was a magical number there. Okay, I think that the energy around Tuesday is great because you get decisive. I think the energy around Friday is fantastic with the sun here. Thursday, Friday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, best days of the week. I think the most challenging days, middle of the week, trying to ignore something or not understanding something, and again, maybe next Sunday. Otherwise, these are all manageable. We don't have the Ten of Swords, we don't have the Tower, we don't have the Death card, we don't have the Devil. So it's a manageable week overall, okay? We're gonna get into the elemental forecast while I'm getting the graphic ready. If you enjoy this, please like and subscribe. It's 100% free and it helps the channel grow, so thank you. This is the only part of today's reading that is specific to any sign. So we'll be looking at fire, earth, air, and water. Let me go ahead and choose a deck and we'll get started. All right, I used this a lot while I was traveling, but we haven't used this in a minute. So let's use the mystical moments for this. And camera's already down, so we'll begin. All right, so we're gonna look at fire, earth, air, and water and see what's in store. Fire, earth, air, water. All right, I missed this deck. It's a good one. Okay, so let's begin here with the fire signs, Aries, Leo, and Sagittarius. It's a good week. Ace of Wands. Things are starting to take shape and form, especially ideas. And this is a time for you to take that idea and bring it into the real world. You may not decide to tell someone about what you're doing yet, or you may not have to present it or explain it, but it's about putting it into a practice, putting it into motion. And that's what I see here. You may get inspired. That's what she's doing. She's reading a book and something fruitful is coming from that experience. So a great way to turn on the mental gears here is basically listen to a podcast, read a book, watch a movie, talk to someone, take a class, anything where you're getting inspired by the fact that, wow, that's something I could do, or that's something I want to do more of. So learning is definitely coming forth with this, and reading is a great way to connect with it. And again, all forms of reading, whether you're listening to an audiobook or actually picking up the book and reading it, you're still getting that transfer of knowledge. The other thing that the card is showing me is believing is seeing, and sometimes we are very, very dead set on, well, I have to, it doesn't exist yet. How can I do this? So this is about bringing it from that place of possibilities. And you might be the first one to champion an idea. It has to start somewhere. So I'm getting a little bit of like the energy of invention, ingenuity. Basically it's engineering even, this sort of aha moment. So there's a first, there's always a first. You might be the first to think of something. So definitely do something valuable with that, okay? All right, great week for Aries overall. And by the way, passion. So it's, where's your passion? Wherever it is, that's where you want to put the energy. If you just met someone, this could be a great time for courtship, for dating, but I'm just getting like a lot of passion, a lot of energy, a lot of opening of ideas. Have fun, fire signs. All right, let's move on to Earth. Taurus, Virgo, and Capricorn. It's a very Earth-oriented Fool card. We see things from beneath the surface coming to the surface. And we see here this person taking it one step at a time. I actually can see this as a very positive card because she doesn't realize just how big this next step will be. So we have like a alligator or crocodile beneath the surface. I actually think it's important. Whenever I see a crocodile, it's about making sure that you are clear on your communication. It did come through on the Aries reading. I pulled it and I'm like, this is like the 10 of Swords. It's like any of the Swords cards. You just want to be very mindful of not speaking to everybody about everything. One step at a time. Get things moving before you communicate, and then you'll be more confident in it. Get your footing. That's the other thing here. Ground yourself in your decision-making process. That's why we had weighing of the decision, declaring the decision, and then feeling like, you know what, we can do this. And it's super powerful because we had the Fool card coming through. I think that was Thursday. So Thursday could be a very powerful day for you. This is a week during which it's just about iterative progress, not all at once. Because we are so used to downloading entire series of TV shows and movies and binging on it, we're used to getting it all. So this is about piecemeal, a little bit at a time, one step at a time, okay? Okay. It's a good week. Great for travel, great for beginning. Try not to bring too much baggage into this, like too much mental baggage. Just let each day be a reset. Very good energy for Earth. Let's move on to the air signs, Gemini, Libra, and Aquarius. I love that this night is literally jumping through a hoop. And we have it reversed, which is saying, don't jump through hoops. Don't feel like you have to overdo it. Less is definitely more when it comes to your approach. All nights represent this sort of progress. And when they are reversed, it is a step back to reevaluate. In this case, do I still align from a decision point of view? Does this feel right for me? Do I still like this? It's not about the heart, it's about the head. Does this make sense? Does this resonate? Does it fit my vision? That's definitely more wands. If something doesn't align with your vision, let's bring it back into focus. I just got a new pair of glasses, but they don't. Because my computer's so far back, I can't. I'm going to have to get like an articulating arm on my monitor. I like these glasses. But when I look here, I can't focus because I have good distance vision, so I had to go for the weaker ones for today. So it's kind of like that. You'll have to make sure that things are in focus for you. And if they're not, you're going to have to look at it from a different perspective, okay? You may have to do something that you don't want to do. This can be a presentation, talking to someone that is a decision maker, that is a gatekeeper, and you're going to have to jump through that hoop anyway. But know that it doesn't have to be all the time, every day, but sometimes we have to jump through a hoop. But if you're constantly having to do that, that's a bigger sort of conversation. So pick and choose your battles. But overall, a good week. Make sure that you're staying focused and concentrating on what matters, and that things align with your vision and you don't get swayed away from what feels right vision-wise. Yeah, I love the glasses. I just have to figure out how to bring the monitor closer, or I have to take them back and get them weakened. It's so weird how, well, because of the work that I do here, I have to have a lot of distance, almost 30 inches from where I'm at and the monitor is. So I have to maybe bring it closer, but thanks. I'm glad you guys like it. So do I. If I come this close, I can read it. So not everybody, I mean, they work for everything else, but for this, I might have to just get a separate pair for what I'm doing here. All right, let's move on to water signs, Cancer, Scorpio, and Pisces. It's a great week for you. We have Empress energy coming through, taking the lead, stepping into a position of power or empowerment. I love that we have that little baby there, so this is birthing and creation as well. Now is the time. It's really the time for you to step into something. And sometimes no one better but you. No one, like, you're the best person to be the champion, to be the one that kind of sort of takes the lead here. The other thing here is, this also has the ability to grow and go further than you think, folks. So I really encourage you to step into this and say yes, please. Some of you might also be new mothers or be dealing with parental issues. This is a moment to really realize just that you've always had the voice, you've always had the potential. This is reclamation of power and also just understanding of what's always been beneath the surface. You don't even have to reclaim what's rightfully yours. So many of you are just starting to see your vision and your voice as something that really contains a lot of worth, and that's something to celebrate, okay? All right, folks. And yeah, I actually do have progressives. I've had progressives for years. So these are progressive, but for those that are coming through. So whenever you get glasses, there's certain distances. So even with the progressives, yeah, there's just a little bit. And I did tell the doctor exactly how far. So we would have to, this is the third time. I've had this frame for a while. I like them because they're very light. But it's hard when you have a studio like this sort of setup, because typically your glasses would be arm's length. So I'm like 2 arms length. It's a very special, most optometrists are not making glasses for that. And I did bring in measurements and they still get it wrong. So that is one of the occupational hazards here of doing this work. But I think I can also look at maybe even just getting a monitor and bringing it closer, trying something different. We'll give it a shot. Let's move on to the main special topic today, which again is what's on the horizon. I'm going to select a new deck for this portion, so give me a moment. And anyway, yeah, you cannot deduct glasses. Trust me, I've tried. There are certain things, at least in the U.S. tax system, you have to pay for your own insurance. That doesn't count as a deduction, unless you are a special company like an S corporation, which I'm not. So anyway, I hear what you're saying. Trust me, I have a good accountant that helps me. He's like, you can't do that. I'll wear them for a little bit and see how they look here. All right. Get an iPad. I can't stream this on an iPad, folks. All right, no more chat. We got to focus on special topic. I'll wear them for a bit and see how they feel. All right, let's close our eyes again. Let go of any sort of distraction. We're going to set the intention now. I put a little, what was it, like flying a kite. So I want to see where the wind takes us. That's why I was inspired to get that emoji, because it is important to kind of decide, like, where am I being led? And, flying a kite, the wind is taking you in a direction. And what's on the horizon? What do we need to be looking at? So I'm looking at the directional push of energy, and I'm also focusing on kind of like what you might be missing if you're pulling back a little bit. I love that we got the star energy there. That's good. Portends good things on the horizon. Okay. I'll tag all the decks later. This is Witch's Tarot, and then I have a bunch of Oracle decks. I'll put whatever is available in YouTube Shop. I tag them always, so I get a lot of questions. They're also on my website, although I don't have all the Oracle ones there. So anyway, let's get back into this. We're going to start off first with Catalyst Energy. We have Mugwort coming through here, first and foremost. And in this period of time, I think it's important to focus on your health and healing in particular. And also looking at alternative medicines, whether it's herbs and, just looking at meditation and other things, because I think it's it's a holistic view on health, and sometimes we fixate solely on prescriptions and other things. So look at what you're putting into your body as far as your food. Look at what you're ingesting as far as like what you're listening to and watching. Focus on ways to heal your body. Really what I'm getting here is a chance for healing. Kind of like the Seven of Pentacles too, where it takes a little bit of time to slowly, make progress when it comes to any sort of repair or healing. So whether it's financial, emotional, or even just, giving your soul a chance to heal with some sort of a wound that you might be dealing with. That's really what I'm getting here, is slow and steady sort of healing. And some of you have been talking about that you can get it in tea, which is cool. So yeah, beautiful imagery there. And it is time to take care of yourself, focus on the healing, and that is going to set the foundation for everything else in your life. All right, let's just look at the cards really quickly. So balancing energy one more time. We have justice coming through. Now is the time to focus on that. I love that we actually have some partnership and support here and standing up in the spotlight, so that's great. Challenges are just perspective shifts, and emotions are running a little bit high, so we'll take it a card at a time. Let's get to this. So with justice, for some reason it's not shifting. Hold on, I might have to do this manually. One moment here. All right, so with justice here at the center, she's really having to do with your ability to say to spirit, this is what I want, this is what I choose, this is how I'd like to see it. And sometimes easier said than done, right? But if you can get super decisive, spirit knows how to show up for you. And so one of the best ways of initiating manifestation is saying, I want it, I'm clear on this, I deserve it, etc. So step one is, what do you want? And not in a pressure way. It should be easy. What is it that your heart desires? Decide, I want this, I'm choosing this, I'm going for this. Choice is a big part of justice. And then feeling the worth, feeling that you are ready for it, that you are open to it, and then stating that, making the decision. As I mentioned before, some of you might be creating a foundation upon which other things could be built. This can include like legal foundations for a new idea, a new company, etc. This is interesting too. I was looking at her expression, and it is about getting to a point in your life. I'll hold it up a little bit longer. Getting to a point in your life where you're really ready to look someone eye to eye, face to face, and say, this is who I am, this is what I want. It's kind of like a resolute energy. When you truly know yourself and truly know what it is that you want, then things just naturally start coming through, okay? All right, good, now it's working again. For a second, my selector wasn't working. All right, so crossing this, we have the Knight of Cups. Following your heart, so important. Yeah, I'm still having some issues with this. Following your heart is really, really key in this moment in time. So don't be afraid to sort of let people know what you think and what you feel. I think sometimes we're afraid to express ourselves. And so personal expression, loud and clear, is coming through as something that's important. This is a great time for creativity and leaning into that creativity. So the thing here that's important is I'm getting resistance. I don't know why, but I'm getting some resistance in like, what will people think? That's kind of what's coming through. And it's not so important what they think, it's what you think and why you're doing what you're doing. So focus less on what other people are thinking. And when it comes from the heart in a place that resonates, typically others will resonate with it too. So it is about saying, this is me. This is the best that I have to offer. This is amazing. And that can be a really great way. I mean, you need to be able to walk the walk and talk the talk, but when you can actually offer something up in that way, say, I am so excited for you to see whatever this is, because you've put a lot of your heart into it. And typically those types of projects, those types of experiences it's both sides of the equation. Everybody's feeling that. So focus more on how you feel and know that other people are going to feel that as well. All right. Yeah, it's hard sometimes to be able to to sort of understand, how did I get here? Why am I feeling this in this moment in time, right? So if that's happening for you, I think that with the Four of Cups coming forth, it's basically saying there's always another way to look at something, to see something. Give yourself a chance to explore those different paths and know that over time, things are going to start to come together. Now, in the Four of Cups, you're always going to see one cup that's a little bit hidden. In this particular deck, it's being presented to him. So she's holding that extra cup. He's looking at the 3 in front. I'm going to pull the traditional one here for just a moment, but it's a blessing in disguise. So sometimes we end up in a situation where we're like, why am I here? How did I end up here? And it's sometimes so that that sense of this isn't me makes you look over there. It's an alignment for a synchronicity. So it's a stepping stone. You're not where you want to be because the next step is probably that. And it's only one step away. Look at how much closer it is in this illustration. Sometimes I prefer the Rider-Waite-Smith cards. It's right there. It's within reach. It just requires the frustration that it wasn't easier to dissipate a little bit, okay? All right, let's look at the next one. I'm going to try to fix this button on the side while I'm doing that. So this is what I was talking about. It is that feeling of, I've done the work. Why isn't this happening? Why isn't this easier? So just give yourself a little bit more time to basically adjust and trust that everything is going to happen in exactly the amount of time that it should. And, again, sometimes it takes just a little bit longer than expected, but it's exactly the amount of time that's necessary. All right, let me see if I fixed this. I did. Okay, I think I did. All right, so this is also about letting go of something that no longer serves you. So when I look at a page reversed, it's about saying, enough now. I don't need this anymore. It's not serving my highest good. And so this is just about releasing it, moving on, and trusting that, that's going to be okay. That's going to allow you to receive something bigger, better, brighter. So you might need to talk to someone. You might need to let it go. I saw like a little transition thing. So I'm going to manually do transitions a little bit today, so be patient with me. Always some technical things when we're in Mercury retrograde. Hopefully no power outages today. All right, it's just not working, is it? I spoke too quickly. Let's see if I do it this way. I just have to manually do all of these. All right, so in the crowning position here, we have the Hermit card. This is about coming out of your shell, even if you're not ready. And that's okay. Again, one step at a time. I think you've done the requisite work to learn what you need to learn. Some of you are still thinking, maybe I want to get some training or some experience. Absolutely, this is a great time to do that. The Hermit card is also about your ability just to work on your own and do it by yourself, okay? Let me see what else is going on with this one. Oh, of course, this is so beautiful. So if we take a look at these two in rapid succession, the Hermit holds the lantern, which becomes the star. Let's talk about it just a little bit. All right, so if you look really closely in his lantern, he always holds illumination, insight, and basically the star. And so in this moment in time, it's really important to know that you are one step closer to being this star energy. It's just a matter of seeing it and believing it internally because you're already there. So it does feel like you could be put into a position where someone is saying, what do you think? How do you feel? And it's just about owning it and saying, yeah, I'm ready for this. Let's do this. So I do see a spotlight moment for you, but I see that tension between these two cards. It's more comfortable to be in the background. It's more comfortable not to have all of that attention on you. It's more comfortable to just sort of be behind the scenes, but it does feel like in this moment in time, there is an encouragement to basically allow yourself to be seen and heard. Again, it might not always be the most comfortable thing, but it's actually the perfect thing for you to be doing in this moment in time. All right. You're coming through in a pretty good way right now. So we have the Emperor card reversed. So it's about your hidden power, your hidden potential. It's just a matter of you believing again in what you have to offer. Once you see that, once you believe that, once you can kind of bring that forth, anything is possible. So speak up if something doesn't feel right. The Emperor card is about trusting the inner voice. And if you're at a table with a lot of people that are making decisions and you don't say something, they're not going to know, they're not going to listen, they're not going to understand. So I think it's really important here to use your voice and just say, I have a question, or I'd like some clarity on this, or why. You can use any number of ways of speaking up without directly in sort of like disagreeing with them. Just say, well, walk me through this, help me understand. And then also, if somebody pushes you, just say, no, this isn't what I wanted. This isn't what we discussed. So there's a lot of different ways to execute and to embrace this inner emperor power. Whatever feels right for you, that's the way to focus on it and do it, okay? All right, let's see what else is coming forth. All right, in the environment here, we have the Page of Wands. And for many of you, I'm just going to put this up here for now. For many of you, this is a chance for you to, again, talk a little bit, share a little bit, walk into this new sort of decision and let people know what you have to say or think or feel, expressing your thoughts and visions in a way that is either neutral or excited. No self-deprecation. No saying, I don't know about this, or I'm not an expert, or, I know this may sound outlandish. Just say your idea. Hey, have you thought about this? I have an idea. I have a thought. You can also ask questions too. Say, this actually gives me, what have you thought also about this? You can even present an idea in a question. And that's a great way because it gets people thinking. It gives them something to sort of like marinate with and come back later. So if you disagree with it, just say, have we also considered this? What about this? That's not saying no. That's not even casting judgment on what they're saying. It's giving them another thing to consider. So that's what the page is doing here. This page also can listen and get inspired because we saw the passion coming through this week, particularly for the fire signs, I believe. So this is a chance for you to really embrace what's possible, okay? All right. Looking at hopes, fears, and opportunities, whether you're looking for it or not, we have the Two of Cups coming forth. So partnership is a part of this week. It could be love, could be friendship, could be a great business connection coming forth. So what's on the horizon? Partnership. Because this is one of... We'll look at the 3 horizon cards here at the end in just a moment, but let's focus on this first. I'd love for you to pause in conversations, in life, as you're walking around outside and look and see, is anyone trying to get my attention? If you're in a meeting or if you're in a conversation, is someone else trying to offer input? Or does someone want to help and support me? Because it feels like that's there. And this guy in the deep past is missing it. She's right there. She's like, when you're done talking, I have something to add, or I could help you out. And here's someone else who is ready and willing to lend a helping hand. So at the very least, we see assistance, support, possibly love or friendship. And so, what I'm getting from Spirit is you've got to slow down and look around. Because even this page, he does seem very keen on expressing rather than listening. So it's important to listen. All right, focusing now on the outcome here, we have 8 of Pentacles, and this one is in the reverse position. So this is kind of the big so what. You had me come in today. The topic today is what's on the horizon. For many of you, what Spirit's telling me is before I answer the question, it's giving me almost like a level of completeness. So the 8 of Pentacles is pretty close, like 80%. You're nearly there. But what it wants you to do in this moment is to look at the fine print, do your research. Typically, you'll see someone reading or creating, and then pay close attention to the level of detail. In both 3 and 8 of Pentacles, which are like cousin cards here, it's all about details. In the 3 of Pentacles, he's taking a chisel and finishing up an archway. In the 8 of Pentacles, typically they're creating the coins, and it's almost like on a production line. She's polishing it in this particular deck. So you're there, nearly there. Let's not give up in the final stretch. So whether you're finishing a degree, working on some sort of personal development, creating a product or service, and just doing the finishing touches, don't rush it out. Don't rush. Full stop. Whatever it is, give yourself that extra 20%. of time and energy to do it right the first time, especially since we're in retrograde. Take the next couple weeks to just, I'm not like a perfectionist typically. I do like things as great as possible. But one thing that I love about live streams is I just have to go with it. A graphic doesn't work, I'll manually do it. The power goes out, I'll wait. It's taught me that just showing up is enough sometimes. But if you have the time and the capacity, or in this case, like a reason, a couple weeks will help you, take it, use it. Make it amazing. Be polished in your presentation. And then you may have a chance for others to want to subscribe to whatever this is. This is connected with services. This is connected with writing, with teaching, with curriculum. So you have something that other people are ready to look at. Give them something that they won't have to scrutinize because, again, you did it right the first time. If you're thinking of going back to school or getting training, now is the time to do that. All right, let's take a quick look at everything here, specifically from these three perspectives, because this is near future, this is opportunities, and this is your outcome. So in the near future, someone may put you into a position where, again, they're curious. What do you have to say? What do you have to offer? Okay. You can work with someone to present this, to talk to someone. You don't have to do this alone. You can have someone supporting you. And like I said, it feels like this is something that could set you up in a long-term way for something very, very successful. We're going to expand this forecast here to look at health, wealth, love, and destiny. We're going to go into the energy of health first, which is your mind, body, and spirit. And let's go ahead and take a look at what's going on here. All right, so we have, in health, shadow treasures. All right, this is interesting. This would kind of be like the devil card, but a very beautiful version of it. It's saying there's been a challenge. There's been something that's kind of out of your control. It's coming through to help you heal the shadow in your life. And once you've done that, the elevated version of the devil card is the lovers. It's almost identical imagery, just one is very dark, one is very light, one has chains, one is liberated. So unconditional love and acceptance for yourself is probably the shadow lesson here. There might be conditions, there might be people that weren't able to love and support you the way that you needed. There are themes of control which are playing out in the form of your key card this month, which is the Emperor. So you have the power. People are already ready to come forth and unconditionally love and accept you if you're ready to receive it. And that is going to help you heal the shadow energy that we see here. Okay, I know it's easier said than done sometimes, but really focusing on feeling that you are enough, that you are capable, that things are going to be okay, that I think that is going to be a really key part to this. And again, just taking one step at a time. All right, let's go ahead now and take a look at everything here from the perspective of health. Balance. Balanced diet, work-life balance, fighting for what's right in your life. All of these things are a part of this. Absolutely. Emotional sensitivity coming through loud and clear here. So if there's anything that you need to feel more loved, more supported, this is the time to do it. It may be beneficial to work with a therapist in this situation. So I'm definitely getting heightened sensitivity here. You need to get off your feet. You need to walk a little bit, in other words. There is a sort of stagnating energy with the Emperor in reverse, and we did get the Fool coming through a few times. So at different levels of activity for those that aren't able, maybe you know, if you're in a wheelchair or if you can't get out of bed, there's a lot of things that you can do as far as chair and bed oriented exercises, but stretching the muscles is really important. But for anybody else, I'm looking at gentle exercise, walking or just getting in a pool and walking around because there's resistance there. That's going to help. Stretching and getting the circulation in the legs, however that works for you. I'm aware that everybody has different levels of activity and ability. Let me see what else here. This is interesting. The Eight of Pentacles can sometimes show that there might be too many interfering medications or something in the diet that's interfering with it. Standard disclaimer applies. I'm not a doctor, work with a doctor if you're going through any of these things, but I am getting that sort of energy around too much. So go back and make sure that all your different doctors are on the same page when it comes to what it is that you are eating, drinking, etc., because sometimes that gets lost in the shuffle. Spiritual development is great this month. So meditation, any sort of spiritual or religious practice could help bring a sense of clarity, and we saw for some of you that prison of thought energy could be illuminated through meditation or talking to a mentor for sure. Let me see what else I want to talk about. Other than that, it looks pretty good. Just a feeling of being overwhelmed is what I pick up on here. And we talked earlier about the importance of what you're eating and also looking at maybe some non-traditional approaches like herbs and even just like diet. It's a holistic approach when we're looking at health. Okay, let's move on from health to wealth. This is your resources, your life purpose, and your career. We had 2 cards here, and I think these are so perfectly connected to wealth, if I do say so. The first card, play. You have to have fun. Have you ever noticed like your favorite job or favorite sort of class or teacher? It was the one where it didn't feel like you were working because it was fun. So if you can infuse play and fun in what you do, everything's going to work out just fine. And then curiosity is so important. If there's ever been a situation where someone says, stop asking questions, that's a surefire way to sort of like eliminate productivity or avoid a problem down the line because people just are quiet when they shouldn't be. So I love that we have crows here because crows use their voice. Speak up. If it doesn't make sense, if you don't like it, if you have a question, use that emperor energy, speak up. Try to have fun. Try to make work fun. Try to make learning fun. If you do this, it will be fun and you'll be more productive. You'll do more of it. You're going to have more people working with you and around you. And it's almost like the 3 of Cups in this particular, playful card here. That's what it would be, actually, I think. All right. So there you go. Some really valuable messages around work in general. All right. Let's see if there's anything else before I break it down into subcategories. Overall, what I love this month is it feels like some of you are going to be, you're set up for success. Let's put it this way. This is being used to not being in the spotlight, but when you're given the opportunity, people are ready to receive and ready to hear and ready to take note. So that's a nice segue. Let's go ahead and shuffle the cards and see if we can look at 5 subcategories here within wealth, starting with those that are employed. 3 of Cups, right by it. Thank you, universe. We love synchronicities. You're playing with me with the technology, but at least when it comes to the cards, it's coming forth. All right, so those that are employed, entrepreneurs, especially since we had Emperor energy, those that are job seeking, those that are students, and then finally retirees. Okay. Super happy, super thrilled to get the 3 of Cups for those that are working. Teamwork makes the dream work, and when you have fun, you get more done. And these are the best types of jobs and learning situations and environments. It's even like when you go into a store or a restaurant and you can tell they're having fun and they bring you in on the fun. Because one of my favorite jobs was when I was in high school saving up for college. I worked at a restaurant, and I did multiple roles within the restaurant, from being a bus person to a waiter to a host to doing catering. But we had each other's backs, all of the people behind the scenes, because I did all the walks of the, but especially waiters and waitresses, because you would just help, like, hey, your food's up. You want me to take it to your table? Or, oh, I noticed you need some help with this. You're carrying a lot. It was no problem because you knew they would have your back too. And then you would laugh in the background and joke about like one of the crazy customers that day and find a way to kind of create a teamwork. So that was one of my favorite jobs because I laughed a lot. Now, there were some not so fun situations with the customers, but it was manageable because I liked the people. So when you like the people and you can have some fun, it can get you through almost anything. Make time for fun. That is going to be key. Not only that, it's going to help you succeed. This is word of mouth. This is people that are like, I like this person. It could be exactly what you need for a step-up opportunity for a new role. There I go again. I forgot. All right. So with respect to that, let's look at this and see how it's going to play out for those of you in a current job. Okay. If you're in a current job, get it in writing, folks. The Justice card is really speaking to the importance of making sure that it's not just a handshake. You know, if someone says, you're perfect for this, we're going to make this happen. Well, I'll believe it when I see it. So the important thing here is to make sure that it gets in your performance plan, that it's contractually exactly what you want, that you're not getting shorted in this agreement, etc. Your creativity, your playfulness, your passion helps set you apart from others. When I was a little kid, I think I told you guys this before in like one of the story times, but I got in trouble because of my laugh. But I see many of you enjoy it when I'm able to laugh. And thank God my parents were like, we're not going to tell our son to stop laughing. That you want him to not be happy. So, you know, whatever it is that is unique about you, that is kind of playful, that sets you apart, just own that if you can, and make it a part of your personality and your brand. I think it's much better than shutting off what makes you shine. So we each have something that's unique and different. And so I'd love for you to just celebrate and embrace what's you. I think your teamwork ability this month, 3 and 2 of Cups, are amazing at getting other people to connect with you. So absolutely, this is great. But if you do get it in writing, you have a chance to rise up. You can make this happen. Let's just make sure that there is a record of the conversation, especially if you have a forgetful boss or a company that just doesn't always follow through. That's what I see. The only thing that is coming through is potentially problematic. Again, you might be a little bit more sensitive right now. There could be people that don't understand your vision. Demonstrate it. The Page of Wands can come through and show a prototype or something. Sometimes the words may not be there, but actions, and again, leaning on a larger group that will help you out. All right, let's move on. So we just looked at those that are currently employed. Let's go ahead now and take a look at those of you that are owning your own company, entrepreneurs. Interesting that both of our power cards here were reversed. So the Emperor is a reversed card showing power, showing decision-making, showing the ability to execute the power. And then this one also reversed. So emotions might be ruling your decisions, because this is basically King of Hearts in a playing deck. So yes, we want the heart to lead us in a direction that feels right. But what I mean by an emotional decision is if financially it's wrong, if legally it doesn't make sense, if the customers don't want it, it's not right. Even if there is a nostalgic or an emotional connection to it, it's important to see beyond that. So yes, the heart plays a role, but not when it blinds us. So that's the general note here. The other thing here is maybe there's too much attachment to something, and you might benefit from having an intermediary to help with certain things, with communicating messages. This is why companies have HR, right? To make sure that things are dealt with. Emotions don't get in the way of law, and also what's right. So make sure, if you are an independent worker and you're starting to grow, it might be worth getting an HR department, right? Or outsourcing a firm to help with that. It might be worth getting a legal department, because we want to protect the company against emotions, and we want you also to have what you need to be supported to thrive. So very specific note for entrepreneurs, but be that as it may, that's what came through. Let's look at other things for entrepreneurs. I love where you're headed. So here's the challenge right now. We want to take you from the best kept secret to on the top of everyone's head because they just heard about you. So I do think that there's an opportunity for better marketing. We don't have a lot of swords cards here. Do we have any? No. So I would love more marketing, whether it's social media, organic, paid, it doesn't really matter, but a little bit more marketing. I feel like you're getting primed for a breakout moment. And then I really do think that you're set up for success here. Lean into good customer service. Lean on a support person, because this person could just be feeling overwhelmed because they're carrying too much of the load. So by the way, this doesn't have to just be like you're emotional. This is a one-person shop. Like you're doing it all. There comes a point where you can't do it all and it gets taxing emotionally. So you're doing a great job, but if you can afford to start to delegate, hire, and expand, I feel like this is the perfect month to do so. Okay? Generally very good. Make sure you've got your organization structured the way that you should. So the Justice card could be reforming your company. I mentioned every single country has different things, so we don't need to get into the specifics, but there's often like a limited company that protects you against legal things. So sometimes smaller companies are LLCs or equivalents. Then you have like a step between that and a corporation, which is sometimes just a tax sort of company. Then you have like a corporation. Make sure that the structure of your company matches what you're doing. Make sure that you have a good accountant and a good lawyer. That's what that's saying too. Okay, let's move on to those of you that are looking for a job. You came through today and you're saying like, Nicholas, I don't see it. Why is nothing happening? Crickets. So the Eight of Swords is acknowledging the frustration. She's also saying, look beyond. I mentioned showing up. Sometimes we have to just keep showing up and eventually the water comes through, but sometimes the pipes are broken. So you might be looking at trying a different location, a different industry, or a slightly different flavor. So back in the very beginning when I was doing actually non-corporate work, I worked for smaller design studios, and I used to work more in the internet space, like a very long time ago, like the .com era. When that bubble burst, I realized, I have to go into a different type of work for this. So I found another way that I could use that skill set, very close to what I'm doing now, production and design, but for larger companies. So sometimes we just have to look at repackaging our skills. And if you could repackage them, you might end up doing something you didn't think. This didn't exist when I went to school. I have journalism and film degrees that helped me do this. And new media, but it wasn't this. There was no YouTube until 2006. So I got my graduate degree in 1999. So I was on the very beginning. I knew where it was going, and I found whatever I could with technology and non-linear editing and stuff, but I was trying to get ahead of it. So just realize whatever your degree is, whatever your experience is, it doesn't limit what your potential is. And I really do feel like that star energy is what this is about. You could go bigger than you think. And so really allow yourself to go a little bit bigger here, right? Networking is key. Choose opportunities right now where you're going to meet great people. Lean on these relationships as you start to look at work. Think back to some of those jobs that you had. Even like I was talking about, there's no reason I couldn't go all the way back to my first job where I worked with somebody and they knew I had amazing work ethic when I was 16. And now many, many years later, I have that same ethic, but now I've got a lot more experience. You could go all the way back to someone who just say, hey, do you know anybody hiring in this field? Go in places that you wouldn't normally look, because sometimes the job application process now it's not what it used to be. It's infuriating, so I get it. So this is going way back and exploring different paths. But I do see an opening here, and it does look like it comes from someone that you know, which is why I'm talking about that, okay? Don't let age, don't let experience get in the way of this, all right? Let's move on to the next category, students. You have a great card. I actually would expect a page to come through for someone that's learning, someone that's studying. So we have the Page of Swords. Some of you are getting involved in marketing, law, writing. This is communication, but put into those sort of contexts, even technical writing. Communication is really key. It might even be beneficial. I think it is for everybody. No matter what your skill set is, everyone should have some degree of understanding of how to communicate in their native language, wherever they're living, so that you can communicate your ideas, right? I think having a little bit of experience with finance, so you know how to deal with money, right? A little bit of experience with psychology, so you know how to understand how to deal with people. If you can choose these in your electives, those will help. But communication definitely could be a part of that elective, if not the main focus. I just see you busy. This is, Swords is putting things to paper. Some of you are in the process of exams, thesis, writing. You're doing great, actually, folks. What you're studying has the potential to take you the distance. I love this for you. I think it's really important to get involved in student life, student activities, extracurriculars. That networking will give you situations where you can also decide, who am I? Where do I really shine? Because she's shining and polishing this. This is all about shining. He's shining the light. So where do you shine? Actually, that's a nice takeaway. Thank you, students, for everybody. What is it in your life that really makes you feel, I shine, I matter here, I stand out? And that's where I would put the energy, okay? Let me see if there's anything else here that I want to talk. Oh, yeah. Definitely take a look at this. Justice for students, first of all, you might be deciding to make the world a better place. This is true of everyone. So some of you are getting involved in the law or social justice or trying to change the world, and we need that. Thank you, students. But it could also be making sure that you're meeting the requirements of your degree. So I was always very methodical about stuff. So I remember sitting through my book at the time. I don't even think they print out those things anymore, but I was crossing stuff off to make sure that I was getting the requirements of my degree program. And it became increasingly important when I decided 2 times in a row, in undergraduate and graduate, to leave school early, a semester early. So I had to double up. So I was making sure that I hit all of the marks. So justice can also be doing what you agreed to do in a program. So make sure that you're not missing a credit here or there, especially if you're trying to graduate in a certain time. That's the last takeaway. Okay, finally, if you're retired, the sky's the limit here. The magician just is lacking focus, but not lacking in skills. He has everything he needs. So some of you just want something new to put your passion into. You're like, I have so much to offer. What do I do? You could teach. You could mentor. Some of you may also decide that you want to take a few moments and just be. I mean, this is part of the reason we work so hard. It's just to sort of like enjoy. Maybe you just need to detox from being around people for so long, for so many years, doing so much. I know that when I first quit my corporate job over 10 years ago, 2015, the first 2 or 3 months, it was until about March or April that I was like, I just am tired. I did so much for so long and I didn't like it, and I just need a couple months to do nothing. And so I did. I couldn't function for a little bit. So sometimes we just need to decompress. That's okay. Give yourself a break. Take a vacation. Take a holiday. The hermit is doing that, but he's also discovering. So there's a difference between doing nothing and holding some space to sort of discover who you are. Like just being present, not having everything filled up. That's not doing nothing. That's sitting still for a second. Stillness is not nothingness. So that's actually what I get with this is stillness and inner discovery and inner understanding. Because until you have that, sometimes you're just going from one thing to another. So I get that it's time to be still for a little bit, for the next week anyway, until we do our next reading. All right, let's look at love and relationships. We got 2 cards for this one as well. I'll go a little bit faster with love and relationships, but let's talk. So both of these cards were upside down, so let's just talk about it. The leapfrog. Frogs leap basically into something. So this might be taking a step back and not feeling like you need to rush, getting out of a fight or flight mode, which many of us feel like we need to get into right now because of, all the massive changes in the world. We're all party to them, and it's just like, I just want to run. Again, repeating advice from my cousin, and I'm living with that advice too, which is make sure that you're moving towards something, that you're not just moving, that you're not just like running. There should always be a 2-year goal. So I've actually started setting 1 or 2 or 3-year goals for myself. I'm like, well, this will help me get there because of this, this, and this. And it's a lot better than just jumping, right? From the frying pan to the fire or whatever. So anyway, the frog is sitting for a moment. And by the way, I love that they can survive in many environments, and it's not ignoring the emotions, the water here. So it's about making sure that you understand where your heart's at. And then we have an egg coming through here. And eggs require, like pentacles, time, nurturing, fertilization. So this is a time to not rush a relationship. It's giving and receiving. And if it's just one, it's not enough. So lots of things to unpack in that. All right, we're going to pull 1 card for each, and I'll probably just stick with the 1 card so that we can keep the pacing here. And I want to give a little bit more focus on looking specifically at the horizon at the very end. Okay, so 3 cards showing the different relationship statuses. We are looking at those of you in a relationship, those of you that are seeking a relationship. We love that we have the lovers. And then those of you that are happily single. Okay, let's start off with those of you that are in a relationship. It's that song from Mahogany, Do You Know Where You're Going To? It's the relationship, like, where are we? What's the next step? So it feels like some of you might be getting serious or saying, you know what? I do feel like to grow, we need to go in different directions. It's the decision time. So that's not a bad thing. That's just getting clarity. This is especially for those of you that have been in a relationship but haven't made that step, right? So that's one section of those of you in love. There could also be a distance component that is complicating relationships a little bit. Your partner may be overseas. You may be working a lot. Someone might be in school a lot. You might just be on the run all the time. And this is about making sure that sometimes these ships aren't just passing in the night, but they're docking at the same place at the same time. So shrinking the distance. There could also be some situations where your culture, your upbringing, your history creates friction, ripples in the water between you and your partner because you just come from a different perspective, possibly even a different culture. And so this is about, again, meeting in the middle. And there may be a move that you're both taking together, moving up, moving on, moving out. Ultimately, I like Six of Swords. I think it's showing progress. And typically, there's more than one person in the boat, but it is just about making sure you're moving in the right direction. I think that's nice and succinct. That's all we need to talk about for those of you in a relationship. For those of you that are looking for love, yes, we got the lovers. I might look more at the spread for some indications on this one, but it all starts within, like the Ace of Cups. You need to just focus on that unconditional love. And I mentioned earlier with the shadow energy that there might have been a lower frequency form of that love or relationship that you need to shed in order to truly embrace the love that wants to come in. Looking at the spread here, there could be an Aquarius that's coming forth. There might be a slight maturity gap between the Emperor and the Page. So be mindful of that. It's really about deciding that you're ready and deciding that you're open to it, because I feel like one of the blocks could just simply be it's not going to happen, or, you know, I don't have luck with this, et cetera, et cetera. So stay open-minded with that. It could happen faster and in a way that you don't anticipate, because this person isn't necessarily looking for it, but that person's there. And that's why when I was talking earlier, I was like, look around, see, there might be someone trying to get your attention. And it could be while you're doing something that you love, at school, at work. Again, just someone sees the passion that you have and the sort of approach that you have, that work ethic and sort of like how much love and energy you put into something, and that's a magnet to them as well. Focusing on those that are single and happy, you can go anywhere you want. We've got the Chariot here. This is a card of control, decision-making, forward momentum, very much like the Six of Swords, just a different. So Six of Swords is in the water. This is on land, or in this case, in the sky. So you can really focus on taking things to the next level, executing on a plan, a vision, or a goal. And again, you're the one taking the reins and making this happen. Pretty good overall. Okay? Now let's take a look at your Destiny card. And for Destiny, we have very interesting message here. It says, inhale, permission, exhale, relief. I can do this. I'm able, I'm capable. It's okay. I think it's okay feels the best for inhale, permission. So it's okay to feel or to do or to want whatever it is that's kind of going on here. And then exhale, relief. Finally, I'm coming to terms with this. It's okay. Allowing yourself to just be present in the moment. It's also interesting how that little rabbit is looking at its reflection. It's okay is also this sort of unconditional love. I see you. But you can practice this as you're brushing your teeth, as you're washing your, whatever. When you look in the mirror, just look in the mirror and think, it's going to be okay. And also think we're amazing. I was listening to a psychologist kind of talk about meeting this person that you're spending your life with, right? This body, this collection of cells that is giving us the ability to move through the planet and through this experience. We look often so critically at that person. Imagine that you could give that person a hug, a kiss on the cheek, a high five, some positive affirmation to reset your understanding that, like, hey, this is my advocate. This isn't the enemy. This better be the advocate. So see yourself as your own best friend. Because once you do that, it's going to bring you closer to the lover energy, the Two of Cups, the star. And I think that's one of the big pivotal turning points here. Less criticism for the reflection. You're doing the best that you can. And if you're not, tomorrow you're going to do the best that you can. And then you're going to look in that mirror and say, look, I've improved. So there's always room somewhere. Just say, we're going to get through this. It's okay. Okay? Let's take a quick look at everything on the table and look at what I set an intention for earlier. And I might pull 3 cards here in a reader's choice. I haven't done that in a minute. But I want to sort of see what's on the horizon and what's the direction of the air. But we'll look at the cards here first. So I think what's on the horizon is this ability to step into the star power. Near future. Where's the energy? It's pointing more towards people and outreach and visibility. What's the friction? Probably this, the Hermit, and probably the Four of Cups. Only seeing what's in front of you, not what's being offered, wanting to stand back a little bit, and maybe being stuck and stubborn in your ways. And so we need to uproot that a little bit. So now, because I can, we're going to look at 2 cards here. And I set the intention and I remember it, and I really want to focus on these 2 questions. Where's the wind pointing you? The wind being spirit. What's the energetic cosmic wind here? And we have King of Pentacles, okay, in reverse. And then what's on the horizon? Okay, we have good cards. Let's talk. So where are we being drawn? So introspective. King of Pentacles in reverse is taking care of himself. This would be right up there with the Emperor. This is the equivalent so this is the major version of the card. This is the minor version of the card. So this is more of a paternal energy, where this is more of a boss energy. So paternal, maternal, meaning taking care of. Taking care of yourself is where the energy is pushing you right now. So it's saying, make sure that you have the love, the support, the education, the finances, just the foundation overall in your life to succeed. Take care of yourself. And where it doesn't exist, seek it or ask for it or research it or create it. And in this moment, especially the next 7 days, because that's what this whole reading is for, do things that give you that sense of being grounded, supported, loved, and nurtured, because that's what a paternal energy would do, a divine paternal anyway. And look into the mirror then and think, we've got this, we're valuable, we're ready. And I'm using we not as a royal we, but as your soul in this body. We've got this. And then pull it back into the I can do this. But there is 2. It is this sort of biological you and the spiritual you. So we're going to pull them together and give them what they need this week to thrive. Not just survive, but to thrive. What's on the horizon? Move or travel. And I saw that in the form of the plane ride. But what was missing was where. I didn't even know I didn't know the airplane, the airport, the destination. It was all missing. I'm like, where am I? And I remember looking, and someone's like, we don't know where you are. The guide was for this sort of saying, that's the purpose. The purpose is the question. So you really need to figure out what it is you're trying to accomplish and where you want to go. And that's the fun of it. So one of the cards in tarot that helps us with this, and I'm going to talk more about this, is the the Two of Wands, because I think back to geography class. I don't even know if they have these anymore because it's old-fashioned, but like the globe, where you would spin the globe, and I remember sometimes we would spin it and then we would learn about, like we would point our fingers and then look it up in the encyclopedia because there was no internet. But yeah, nowadays you could kind of do a virtual thing like that, but it is sort of like saying, where haven't I explored? Where could I go next? So Two of Wands energy allows you to say, what if? If I can find it, I'll bring it up. If not, that's just, you can look it up yourself. But here it is. So I imagine he has a globe and he's spinning it in front of himself and he's saying, well, what if I try this? Or what's here? Or why not this? It's an open question. That will then inform, well, maybe I could take a trip. Maybe I could explore this. Maybe I could try that. Okay? So what if? Why not? Explore that kind of energy. Also on the horizon, you're almost done with something. This is graduating. This is completion. He's not very burdened in this card, which is good, but he still needs to let it go. So the thing that we spend the most time creating is sometimes the hardest thing to release. So when you're ready to retire, leaving behind that path, when you're ready to graduate, when you have a child, when you get married, you're embracing one new chapter, but you're leaving something very comfortable behind you. So know that it's okay, and that without like letting it go, you'll never know what's possible, right? You have to try it on. By the way, my glasses are I'm kind of getting used to it. So something like that too. Sometimes you just have to try it on. Anyway, let's go ahead and meditate. And before we do that, just as a thank you for putting up with some of my technical issues, I'm going to gift some memberships because I think I still have some. So let me just watch the live real quick, and then I will do that. While I'm getting that ready, a quick note. If you haven't already liked and subscribed, please do that. It's 100% free. It helps the channel grow, and it makes my day. And we're really close, but kind of stalling a little bit to a milestone. So we'll do something special when we hit that milestone. But I'm waiting for you guys to get to that next milestone. By the way, you can also, if you haven't already, give me a follow on social media as well. Do appreciate it. And I'm going to say thanks in a few moments after the meditation for those of you that choose to give back. All right. Again, while I'm doing this, feel free to subscribe. All right. So let's gift some memberships if I can. Let's see. Here we go. Membership gifting. Gifting 5 right now. Thanks, everybody, for your patience today. There's a little bit of love and support for you. Okay. Now let's meditate quickly, and then we will look at a final card after that. Take a moment, if you will, and close your eyes. We're obviously going to work with flying a kite today because it works perfectly. So I want you to find the inner child within you that maybe wants to like go out and play during recess at school, or didn't get a chance to have fun one day. Let's go back to that moment, and you get to have fun today. Imagine that you have this beautiful, sparkly, magical kite that you can play with. And your guide is there with you. Forget about your parents. You have your guide and this magical kite. And this kite is not just any kite. It is something that can help you align to your path. For those of you that are seeking clarity on who am I, what should I do, this is kind of helping you align to that. So the guide shows you how to work with it. And this is what I'm being shown as I'm seeing it. Imagine that you could hold the kite in front of you, bring it towards your heart, make a wish. And if you don't have a wish, just open your heart and say, show me what I should be focusing on. And as you do this, I want you to hold the kite in front of you and look at its magical, sparkly brilliance. Take a deep inhale and exhale. And as you breathe out, imagine that the kite takes flight. Your hand is holding onto this beautiful silvery it's not even a rope, it's just this string that connects your heart actually to the kite. And imagine now that you're allowed to kind of fly with it. It's not something that you're holding back. You're actually taking flight with it. Just like I was talking about with the globe, imagine that you could see the next move. You could see the next version of you. Allow that magical journey to take you one step closer. And feel that just allowing yourself to believe I can do this, or I know what I want, is going to help open up doors of opportunity. Your mind is magical in that way. If you can allow it to open up a possibility, it will. If you deny it that, it will close it down. So we're opening things up. We're following our heart. We're following the sort of cosmic breeze that's taking us towards a new destination. Without needing to know all the details, imagine that you could put your feet firmly on the ground and just think to yourself, I'm there. Open your eyes and know that you're going to get there, even if you're not there now. Your heart and your soul and your guide have shown you that it's within reach. Come back into your, wow, I just had my sort of ear chakra open up. So definitely, I feel like the message was heard. Okay. I'd like you now to focus on one final question for today. This can be anything that we haven't already looked at, and I'll do my best to interpret that. All right. So if you asked me yes or no, it's more nuanced. It's saying yes, comma, however. There's a lack of clarity right now on this. You need to get to a point where you've either done more research or there's less hesitation. It's possible, but you're not resolute enough, you're not decisive enough to sort of fully step into the power of this moment. So give yourself some time. We talked about like the Eight of Cups that came through for today. Give yourself a week, give yourself some time, explore the options, and then make the decision. See if you feel the same by the end of this week. But yes, you can do it. You're just not clear on it. For everyone else, here we go again with the Seven of Cups. What we want to avoid is, what about this? What about that? All this other stuff that can kind of get in the way. We want it to be that eureka moment, like, this is it. I am ready. Yes, yes, yes. So limit some of the, like I talked about taking the most obvious and the most obviously not options off the table. Try to get it from too many to just two or three. An absolute yes, a maybe, and then something in the middle or whatever. Good, better, best is what we're looking for. There's too many options on the table. This is a great time to ask questions, to learn, to research, to dream, but don't go to the point of exhaustion. Keep it as simple as possible. Okay? That was a magical reading, even with the technical difficulties. I think during the Mercury retrograde, there's going to be one a week, so we'll have fun with them, however that may be. I will persist and persevere through all of them as always. It's my pleasure to show the universe that I have a sense of humor. And yeah, I hope you do too. So I think we went through most of these, but really quickly, again, if you haven't already subscribed, please, it's free, it helps. And I still notice sometimes 40 to 50% of the casual viewers don't do that. You're not going to have to do anything by hitting subscribe. It just tells you when I post something new, that's it. You can also follow me across other social media platforms. I'm on all these major ones as Nicholas Ashbaugh, Blue Sky, nicholasashbaugh.com. That's also the name of my website where you can get more information about me. If you'd like to give back, I'm going to say thanks in just a moment to everybody that has. There are multiple ways: super stickers, super chat, memberships, super likes when it's on replay. Thank you in advance. For everyone else, again, it's 100% free to simply leave a comment or like and subscribe. Okay, it's time for gratitude. Thank you, everybody, for showing up. Welcome to all the new people. Please come back. I do a lot of different types of videos. I even have a podcast which you can check out if you haven't already. It's on the podcast tab. All right, back into the gratitude. I'd like to take a moment here to welcome back members. I'll see what I can do. It's been a little finicky about scrolling while I look at the members, so sometimes I can't acknowledge all of them, but I know that Dakota, who, by the way, thank you for your help, he's always good about saying thank you to folks in real time. And I see it later when I do sort of final editing here. All right, so let's see what I can do here. We'll start with the beginning. SMC, Aquatrix, James C, Samantha, Annette, April, Renata, Kim, Jennifer, Urban Stack, Ixchel. I think that's It's a goddess, isn't it? That's a cool name. Koala, Sea Rice, Blue Dixon. Trying to read it before it goes by. Yeah, I'm going to have to look at the rest in the channel dashboard. So thank you and welcome back to all of those. And I will remember who I forgot here and say thank you here in just a moment. So let me do it all at once here as I recognize those of you that have given back with fan funding and celebrated an anniversary as well. All right, so let's see what's going on here. Okay. Michelle, thank you for 21 months of membership. I'm excited that you were able to join as well. Join in today. Lydia, for 55 months. What? Get out of town. Thank you for being here. And I'm so happy that you've been here for a long time and continue to show up. Thanks. That's the longest I've seen. So thanks, Lydia. Lady, thank you for 6 months of membership. Let's see. Thank you, Heather, for gifting a membership. I appreciate you. Colette, 5 memberships. You're amazing. Thank you very much. Let's see. Michelle, 50 months. Another long-time member. Thank you so much. That means a lot. April, welcome. I gifted 5, so welcome to everyone that I gifted. Jan, thank you for 26 months. And Amitabha, thank you as well. Again, there's a few at the bottom that I can't see because it's just not scrolling. So I know I've missed a couple, but just know that I do see you and I do appreciate you. All right, shifting now to those that gave with a super sticker or super chat. Let's see who's coming through here. And these are a little bit easier. So Yolanda, Jeannie, Sarah, DS, Monica, and Amitabha, thank you so much. Let me see if I missed anybody here. I think I got most people. I'm going to just scroll through one more time. I think I got it. So again, apologies if not. I do my best. The tools here on YouTube aren't the easiest sometimes. Oh, good. Apollo's back behind us. Let me see if I can bring him into focus, and then we'll wrap up for today. All right. Let's give him a little pat on the head. I know. You knew we were talking about you, didn't you? Sunbathing just like a cat would in the background. All right, everybody. Thank you so much for all of your love and support. I appreciate you. And again, I will be back again, same time next week. I just started the next round of readings. So Aries, you got yours early. I'll be working on Taurus and Gemini at the beginning of this week as well. And so keep an eye out for those in the coming days. Until I see you next, have a great one and be well. Bye-bye.